everybody. Stage 10 today. We're in Bisha, Saudi Arabia now. And we didn't even see Alex and Stefan leave at the beginning or finish at the end. The reason was there was a long liaison of 200 kilometers from Wadi Ad Dawasir, where we were, to the start, and then another one just as long from the finish back here. But in the meantime, we were able to get a hold of the engineer for the Rebellion Racing team, Andre Costa. He's a heck of a nice guy. He's actually Portuguese, but you'll notice he sounds pretty darned American. He told me when I met him, oh yeah, I speak English with an American accent. Blew me away. Great guy. He told us all about the DXX.
So my name is Andre Costa. I'm the systems engineer for this the DXX project with the Rally Dakar, and I've known the team for quite a long time through Brice. So the team is Rebellion Racing. The people running it is RD Limited, Romain Dumas Limited, which is part owned by Brice Gaillardon and Romain Dumas, the racing driver. And they're based in France, and they've took on the project from Peugeot Sport, the two cars that they bought. They transformed it into the current DXX buggies, and this is what they've been running, developing it, pushing it forward to get us to here. And that's they've been running it for the last 3 years, and to get us to here. This car was done according to the regulations that were in place at the time. The most competitive you could be was big wheels, two-wheel drive, buggy. So that was the project. Came back in the day. It used to run a diesel engine, a twin-turbo diesel engine, and now we've come away from that and we've gone to a Ford Performance V8. So this Ford V8 is a Coyote engine. It's the double overhead cam V8 engine with a normal V disposition. This is the aim of it, is to get reliability out of it. For example, yesterday's stage, Sebastian Loeb went for 34 minutes without lifting, flat, since the start of the stage. Pinned down, no off throttle, just 34 minutes straight. So the cars get a massive amount of beating. And in the end, at the end of the rally, the race cars will have done 8,000 kilometers. For me, in my reality of Formula E, that's 5 seasons worth of racing. Whether that we do in 2 weeks, it's completely different. So that's why reliability is so important here, and all the systems, all the different compressors, all the different coolers. It's really important we keep on it. So this is a SADEV 6-speed sequential gearbox that we have on the car. It's quite sturdy because it handles a lot of torque and it handles a lot of mileage. So we try to keep it as sturdy as possible. The clutch gets a massive beating. So we try to, every night, we take the clutch out, we reset the shims, we reset the heights for the multiple carbon disc plate gearbox clutch, and put it back on and check it. And every time, if we're not running for a flat, full load shifting, we try and ask the drivers to make it easier on the gearbox and the clutch itself. The arrangement is we have double wishbones all around, front and rear, overimposed. We run quadruple shocks, so 2 on each side on the front and 2 on each side on the rear. They have a massive amount of travel. We're running around, I think, 400 mil of travel, which is quite a big deal. We're running 95 octane fuel, with 90 gallons of it that we can put in the car. Sometimes some of these stages are really tight on fuel because we're driving 500 miles with 90 gallons on it, and the car's doing road sections, going at motorway speeds. Then it's doing dunes. Cars going on dunes are a fuel guzzler. It's unbelievable. They go through a lot of fuel because they're always constantly on the gas and trying to get it to move. We have an automatic inflation system that I wouldn't say automatic, it's driver or co-driver controlled automatic inflation system. So you can be in the car driving or in the road section, you need a pressure for the road section, and then you can tune individually all 4 tires, and you can go up and down as you wish And as you're approaching a dune section that you need to deflate your tires to get increased footprint, you can go just the fronts or just the rears, depending on what you want. If you want overall footprint, then you deflate all four. And if you're looking for traction, if you're going up a dune, you deflate the rear tires to try and get a bit more footprint, to try and get you a bit more traction. Then as you exit the dunes and you go into hard dirt section, then you can inflate them again to whatever you want. So currently the car weight is around 1,400 kilos. So, and the weight distribution is around 45, 55. We try to get as much weight as we can to the rear as possible, because it's really, really good for our traction to get the weight down, especially when you're running through fast sections. When the car is working around the dunes and working around the bumps, if it gets the rear down, it's really easy to keep the traction on, because if the car is centered or 50-50 like a normal single seater configuration, you try to get 50-50, and then if the front jumps, then it's going to jack up the whole right hand side or left hand side, so you will lose the contact patch. So the objective is to get it squat, get a good squat on the car and try to get it as much traction as you can. It's pretty light. If you look at it, just the wheels itself weigh 40 kilos. So that's 40 kilos, that's almost 100 pounds per wheel. The car has 6 on board, so 4 wheels plus 2 spares. That's a lot of weight just on wheels itself. So if you look at it, the car is not really that heavy for what it has. It has to have, because it runs big wheels, it runs big brakes. Because it runs big brakes and big wheels, big wishbones. They're heavy, they're sturdy, they're made for reliability, not for lap time. So everything that you keep piling on weight on the car, and obviously it becomes heavier and more sturdy as you try to design everything to accommodate for that. So when it comes in, we check for tightness all around. Every ball joint that we have, check for play on it, because all the suspension is uniballs on the joints, and we have to check for everything because that gets hit so hard and it is prone to get play, and we have to check for play of everything. All the front suspension, all the rear suspension, everything in terms of cooling pipes, cooling radiators, we have to clean them out, check them out if they have any pressure leaks, inflation compressor lines, the jacks that they have to help them out on the sand. When they get a puncture, they have hydraulic jacks that they can control via remote control. We have to check that also, all those lines. All the mechanisms in the car get fully rehauled. Everything gets checked, levels topped up, and then that goes at around 4 hours of service that we need to get the car turned around. Plus, that is if there's no issue. So the way that Dakar is working is we run from city to city. And so, for example, we started in Jeddah, where is the commercial capital of Saudi. So there was our main starting point. And we ran from there. Then we had to the car went for the special stage and did 900 kilometers to the next stage. So the car leaves, let's say at 9 a.m. in the morning. Then the car leaves, then all the trucks and all the support cars have to drive to the next bivouac to set up everything you see, to wait for the car to arrive to do the service. If we're moving again the next day, as we finish the prep of the car, as the car leaves to go for a road test, we take everything down, load the trucks, and get ready to go again for the next bivouac. So the car will arrive around 8 o'clock, depending on if everything goes well with its rally. Sometimes you might get an issue or a puncture or some issue on track that makes you get really late to the bivouac. So let's say normal arrival time is around 8 p.m. So if you put 4 hours of normal service into it, we're going to stop at midnight. Sometimes it goes into 1, 2, sometimes 3. This happened this week. And sometimes we have to stop automatically because the trucks have to leave to get in time to the next bivouac. So sometimes we're still working on the car and the trucks are leaving because they have to be there in time to set up when the car arrives the next day. As the car comes in, everyone knows who does the front jack, who does the rear jack, who does the stands, who jumps on the gearbox, who jumps on the clutch, who jumps on the cockpit to service the car. The engineers go debrief the drivers for any issues we had during the stage. And then there's a lot of data looking for, at least from my side. We're looking at 500 miles of data. There's a lot of data to look at, so that takes up a lot of time to sift through all the data to make sure everything's running fine. There's no alarms, there's no issues. The car has a lot of sensors on board that are critical to its operation, so we need to make sure everything's ready to say the car's good, so that the mechanics can just do the normal service rather than go on to extensive service.
Big thanks to Andre Costa for telling us all about the DXX. I think it's so cool that it's got a Mustang GT Coyote V8 in it. And while we were talking, Alex and Stefan pulled up. Great news, they're back in the paddock. We're going to interview them and we'll find out more about how it went today tomorrow.